A lot of times people ask me to give an opinion of where the church is today in the American culture. And to be honest, I really try to stay out of such questions and topics. I've heard many sermons from the pulpit talk about how much we need to be more theologically minded or philosophically driven. And no doubt I think those are areas that we could all learn more in without question. But I think what plagues today's church more than anything is our own psychological wounds and our denial of them. Having worked in a treatment facility and become familiar with the world of psychology somewhat, I see that what plagues people in general, and I see this often in today's church, is what we would call codependence. And codependency is really a lack of understanding of the self, or looking rather for others to validate you because there's some lack of confidence or some lack of validity within you. And so what's interesting is when you apply some of the psychological lenses to today's church, I think we're filled with codependent Christians. Is that we only rise up to the community that we're in. I mean, you see this denominationally, we see this in the local church, and that I think that's what plagues today's church somewhat. I really try to stay out some of the more detailed issues, but I think this is kind of the heart of what really affects today's church and its effective influence in the community and culture. Because we look for others to approve of what we're doing or rise to a particular code of behavior that's approved of by a denomination or a particular community group, and we don't look to the life of Jesus. And when I look to 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12, Paul writes these words, "For we don't dare classify or compare ourselves with some who commend themselves, but in measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves to themselves, they lack understanding." And I think this is something that we really have to take to heart, that what it means to really lack understanding. Because if you look at Hebrews 12, at the beginning of the chapter, it says, "Let us run with endurance the race that lies before us, keeping our eyes on Jesus, the source and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that lay before Him endured a cross and despised the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of God's throne." So again, what do I think plagues today's church? And again, I'm just one opinion of many, but I think it's our codependence, that we look to others to validate our Christian behavior rather than looking to God.